if you guys have heard of this band, The Warning. For those of you who are not familiar with them, The Warning is a band. It's three sisters from Monterrey, Mexico. They're a band that has done really well. They're really popular right now. I mean, they're on tour and is selling out everywhere. And little girls love this band. And my niece is one of those little girls. So The Warning was in town. I said, you know what, let's get some VIP ass tickets, because she's a kid. I'm not going to have her in there with these ruffians. And I don't know what the fuck was going on. There was a really weird vibe at The Warning show that was, I'll say, like, it was disconcerting. There was a noticeable contingent of old dudes in their 50s and 60s who were not only at the show, they were up in the fucking front. They were not like, you could tell these weren't like hard rock, heavy metal people. These motherfuckers all were just like people who look like they just, you know, you got out of work, you put on your fresh Hawaiian button up, whatever the fuck, one button undone so you can show the gray pubes.
Read all about this in this month's issue of Things That Make Me Vomit.
The pit was just like thick with dudes. And I mean, this isn't to say like middle-aged dudes. I'm saying dudes in their 60s, maybe 70s. I saw some very, very old looking motherfuckers there. So as talented as The Warning are, and I don't want to take anything from them because they are talented and they deserve that, they are also attractive. And wherever you have attractive ladies, you're going to have gooners. So I'm there up in my VIP ass area and we're chilling, you know, I got some White Claws at the table, I got my niece, I got a broad with me, I'm fucking doing my thing. And I look at the audience, you know, the way my shit was set up, like I was sort of like on the same level as the stage. So you could see sort of the audience from a little bit above. And I noticed that at the front of the stage, it was just bald head, white hair, bald head, white hair, male pattern baldness. It was such a weird crowd because it was either old dudes or like pre-teen girls and, you know, the people who brought them. I thought of that. I said, okay, well, you have to assume some of these guys have brought little girls here like I did. And I just, you just look around, you saw a lot of kids and, you know, you could tell who the adults were that had a kid with them. These guys were all together. It didn't make sense to me is all I'm saying. And I asked the lady that I was with, I said, hey, is it me? Or are there a lot of really old fucking nerdy looking motherfuckers here?
Am I wrong?
No.
Am I wrong?
And everybody agreed, like, it's a little odd. I'm not like bragging or like, oh, I go to shows, but I do go to a lot of shows and obviously I'm middle-aged. So I know what it is to be an older guy at the show. Most shows you go to, it's going to be mostly young kids, unless you're checking out one of these legacy bands. Metallica is a good example. You go to that show, there's a ton of old people, like really old people. But like they look like cool heavy metal old people. They, you know, they got like a heavy metal t-shirt and fucking jeans and they just look like dudes, you know? They're just old. They happen to be fucking old. And, you know, as one of the older guys at the show, I know where we tend to hang out. You lay in the back, kind of by the bar, so you can get drinks. The kids aren't buying drinks. They don't give a shit. They don't have the money to do it, even if they wanted to. So you chill back by the bar. You're not trying to be in the pit. You're not trying to have people fuck with you. You're past that. You're just chilling. That's really the role of the older dude at a hard rock or heavy metal show. The Warning, they have not been doing this that long. In a lot of ways, they're still an up-and-coming band, so it's odd to me that there seems to be a traveling pack of really old guys who are very into this group of girls. Another thing I noticed, they were all white guys. It wasn't like 50, 60, 70-year-olds of all shapes and sizes and colors. These were old white men. And I only say that they're white, I only even mention their whiteness because that's part of kind of what doesn't make sense to me. Like, once again, these girls are from Monterrey, Mexico, and several of the songs in their set are done in Spanish. Of all the bands that you would decide to follow around, why this group of young Hispanic women who, a quarter of their set is in Spanish?
You understand, you motherfucker?
These older people, a lot of them followed the warning from town to town to town. Okay, think about any band that you like, right? How long did it take that band to develop the type of following where people would follow them from town to town? How long did that take? It's just weird to me. I don't get it. I'm trying to understand it. I went to the band's Reddit to see if anybody else had noticed this, and there was a much more nicely worded version up there where, they were asking about like, hey, have y'all noticed there's like older people at the show? I mean, listen, I don't want to say these motherfuckers are PDF files. What I am saying is it was really weird and it was really noticeable. As a dude who goes to a lot of shows, as a guy who tends to be one of the oldest people at the fucking show, some people on the Reddit said, well, this band reminds us of bands like from our time, so we don't get that too much or whatever. Bullshit. Right now, there's a ton of bands you could go watch if you're into like a 90s style, grungy type rock. But really, those were the two things that you noticed looking at the crowd. A, there were a lot of younger kids there. And B, there was just an unsettling amount of dudes in their 50s and 60s who were up at the front. They weren't moshing. They were up at the front staring at these fucking girls. Why are they following the warning around? Are they dangerous? Are the warning in any danger? Do they need a warning of these fucking weird creepos? I don't think there's going to be an answer because no one can answer this honestly. I just thought it was a little odd that there was such a large number of dudes that looked like they just stepped out of To Catch a Predator videos. Just saying, has anyone else noticed this? If so, let me know, please. Anyways, moving on.